cause I do the damn thing, so I guess the damn thing is getting done. I ain't popping champagne, this ain't a campaign. I ain't running, no, actually you should run. No comparing, clearly you can't hang. Such a damn shame, man, you ain't never won. Life ain't a fair game, I'm just an airplane flying through. Maybe you should see if you can get you one. I'm not you, I'm not the rapper to talk to. I don't care about your story or the shit that you walk through. All true, I'm not doing what you all do. I'm the crack in the floorboard that you fall through. Fall to the basement where the concrete caught you. Now the foundation of my frustration haunts you. You can run all you want to, clearly there ain't nothing here but these four walls, so what you gon' do? That was rhetorical. Check the rhetoric, graph, rapping historical. This shit is hysterical, got a map at the oracle. Kick down a door or two, hijack the track, and I kidnap the world for you. Just snap and store for me, get back, I forcefully push back, get this lyrical slap perform for you. Yes, graph just orphan you, I cannot father you. What you ought to do, suck a on the mic and all.
Haven't seen anybody in a minute, everybody thought it was finished, but I was busy getting done. Putting ducks in a row, man, you know how it goes. Careful where I put my nose, about to twist one. Clouds forming in the sky, pens and pencils about to rise, no lie, you can watch the flow eclipse, son. Not the largest, not the hardest, not the smartest, but when we talking targets, best believe I fucking miss none. Lyrics I'm serving, you call it lyrical servant. Two people stuck in the feelings, and I'm just coming to hurt a few. With these pages I'm burning through all the new shit I learned to do. I'm about to buy a tower, fuck your office and corner views. Here to do what I want, I don't need your approval. And I like my privacy, so fuck Alexa and Google. I'm just trying to nail my point like fingertips at a bugle. And the whole team gets a plate, no more oodles and noodles. I've been working on my craft, no more stuck up in the past, no more feeling like I'm trapped. Yeah, it's time for me to make moves. Everyone has an agenda, January to December. It's a must, you remember, can't f with fake dudes. Keep my head up in the clouds, yeah, I'm walking through the cloud pockets, thinking from the loud, I'ma skate through. I'ma be me, all that I can be, cause no matter what you do, somebody gonna hate you.
I came to do the damn thing, cause I do the damn thing, so I guess the damn thing is getting done. I ain't popping champagne, this ain't a campaign. I ain't running, no, actually you should run. No comparing, clearly you can't hang. Such a damn shame, man, you ain't never won. Life ain't a fair game, I'm just an airplane flying through. Maybe you should see if you can get you one.
Ooh, Flame made this beat.
Flame made that beat.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches, they hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, it was easy. If only I made it, keep this shit on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that ish, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out. These hoes, they know I'm on, it's my show. I know I'm better, Gucci sweater, Louis V, my bros. I chose this road, cause I know I'm cold. I'm on the level you can't handle, you can't steal this flow. I swear I want people to feel me, but I don't care if they don't, cause this is the real me. How can I give up? Ain't it's not enough to make them stop what I'm saying. And I gotta hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
see I'm really getting tired of you. Wanna do everything but tell the truth. They be sleeping on me really when I'm in the booth. Sensational, yes, tasteful, insatiable. My name, baby. Come on, girl, let me drive you crazy. Done fighting, I wanna go tonight. So what's up tonight? I'm all dressed in white. I don't snort the white, but we can blow the green. Reconcile the new money team. Sophisticated, so it may look mean. I'm all about my cream and trying to chase my dream. God got me, so I'll never stop. Keep it real, never turn and pop. Ambitious mind like I'm pimpin' pop. Long as Cam got us, we'll never flop.
Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, it's on everything. I'ma have to bring the whole city out. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, it's on everything. I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
Wait, you know the vibe. We pull up on him and up it and slide. March you to pull off and tuck it and drive. VIP and you can't get inside. Bitch, you can breathe, you ain't falling in line. Wait, don't got no type. Wait, give her the pipe. Killing her dead till I go to the light. Bustle the please, get out of my sight. Man, that's a filter, don't fall for the hype. We made $1 million on pills in the white. Get to the money, we stacking it high. Sick with the head, she be giving me life. Pay me my money, ain't saying it twice. Wait, save your advice. Don't talk to me, bitch, let you talk to me nice. Got a bag on me, can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free, pulling with a ski mask. Got a bag on me, can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free, coming with a bag till I fill it up. Pull up pump 6, you fill it up. All gas, how you want it, we can give it up. $100 million in the bank, I really want. Big fucking on me on it till we get enough. I swear I really love it till I get enough. Broken bag and Da Vinci, what you really want? Silly me, I was thinking it was really love. I was fighting these demons and all this plotting and scheming. Don't even speak when you see me. It costs money to beat me. I put your face on the TV. How she gon' love me and leave me? I swear the hating is easy. You ain't from nothing to feed me. Heard you was hype now. See me and pipe down. You got it right now. Fuck it later, man. I need it right now. I didn't really sleeping on me. They need a nightgown. Pull up in the Benz, dip. I need a white down. Got a bag on me. Can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free. Pulling with a ski mask. Got a bag on me. Can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free. Wait, you know the vibe. You know the money on top of my mind. If she gon' give me the top, then I'm fine. If they don't see me, these niggas shit line. Pay me no money, I pay you no mind. Cartier lenses, they blocking my eyes. Wait, out of my sight. Slide with a model and call it a night. Ski mask. Got a bag on me. Can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free. Pulling with a ski mask. Got a bag on me. Can't see us when we speed past. Catching bodies for free.
He's the reason you'll be done. Petty niggas be the fucking run with
said it again. Put it in the air, you're gonna get what you get. So put it in the air. This is a message from a lonely man. Ride for the Holy Lands, messing with a guy like me. I don't understand kindness for weakness. Never was the plan. A guinea in the city who got hands, a ladies' man. Sprayed up the block today, real street sweep away. My guns Bangkok, impact like Cassius Clay. Started out a stagehand, now making power plays. Kiss the skin untanned, waxed off castaway. Sounds of Sea Lance in Thailand. Smoke a J, showcase my skills with no delay. Take the camera, put it in my face, then back away. Let's go overseas, have a holiday. Females on display, bottles of Belvedere, Devala, Roy Rosé. Doing it my way, success I parlay. Put it all on red, hit the highway. Stop staring at me sideways. This is my money, do or die, Pesta Cavarcier. Stop for this moment in time and get your hands up. Grind till the wheels fall off, get your bands up. If you ain't ready to rock, change your plans up. Stay in your lane, count your paper, watch it stack up. Stop for this moment in time and get your hands up. Grind till the wheels fall off, get your bands up. If you ain't ready to rock, change your plans up. Stay in your lane, count your paper, watch it stack up.
Yeah, we look at life from a different view. No doubt, far from few, filthy skyscraper types. Ish, Lance, come on. What up? Yo, whoever thought I'd be this gifted? Escape felonies, painting pictures. Hustling on the court, Mr. Painting Pritch. Play around the world cause I'm King Richard. Shoot on the spot cause I grew up different. Prophecy, language, money over position. Sipping sake up in Bangkok. Sex on the beach, head of mountaintops. Nothing but fresh air, so we gotta smoke. Every move impeccable like dinner jokes. The lost poet, never like strangers. Bosses at my table, we eat dangerous. See Lance in the cut, yeah, we money makers. Leave all them crumbs for them haters. A gangster and a gentleman, no loose ends. Creme de la creme, ball above the rim, ball above the rim.
Stop for this moment in time and get your hands up. Grind till the wheels fall off, get your bands up. If you ain't ready to rock, change your plans up. Stay in your lane, count your paper, watch it stack up. Stop for this moment in time and get your hands up. Grind till the wheels fall off, get your bands up. If you ain't ready to rock, change your plans up. Stay in your lane, count your paper, watch it stack up.
Skilling up, get your measure straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All about grind, design, and timing. If the work ain't skilling up, get your measure straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All about grind, design, and timing.
Smack rappers like that URL clips. While you sitting at home watching URL clips, I'ma double back at Harvard like that URL clip. Bet these rappers get ruffled every second I smell chips. Get green like a Celtic. Volcanic how I hit the booth and I melt shit. Stunting no evil Knievel. Blood of a king. So every bar spiritually regal. Take y'all to church, no cathedral. Pen poison tip like a needle. Paint you a pic with no easel. Rap is quick to mislead you. On game try to G you. Not for the weak or the feeble. Stomping is concrete, so it's easy to get my seeds through. Cause say I'm a lyrical contortionist. Killing these kids, here's the abortions list. With this mic in my hand, it's like I got a poker. Smile on my face, something like the Joker. Smack your chick in the face, she love it while I stroke her. And shit get cold like we in Nova Scotia. Certified, registered, yeah, my crew legit. Known for spitting fecal matter, every bar's the shit.
If the work ain't skilling up, get your measure straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All about grind, design, and timing. If the work ain't skilling up, get your message straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All about grind, design, and timing.
I'm just trying to do my own thing. My phone rang, they told me my homie got hit in close range. It won't change. Plug with them people that flip cocaine and gold chains. Turn me to a king like the Gold James. Gas price high, self-esteem low. Past to getting high, keep it on the low. You got a bunch of friends, y'all chillin', y'all smoke. Won't share none of your songs, but'll share that new code. Shout the code. Yeah, I know the world's cold. So cold. Yeah, we sticking to the code. To the code. Spent some digits on my clothes. Every other video I'm sipping on the rose. Foot up on the gas, always on the go. Made $1 million off a MacBook Pro. You could pick your poison, Trump or Joe. They devilish though. Either way, we got it for the low. For the low.
If the work ain't giving up, get your measure straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All by grind, design, and timing. If the work ain't giving up, get your message straight. Once your foot on the gas, you cannot hesitate. I know you can't tell the prime that I'm in. All by grind, design, and timing.
Chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada. That's the sound of clashing katanas. All start from katana. Iron's hand harvested from the riverbed, melted into carbon infused tamahagane. Burning in the furnace for 3 days straight, then folded and hammered, repeated. No impurity, sharpen with impunity. Cause if it ever touches your flesh, it peels on both sides of the edge. So clean it might heal if put back together right away. Unless you wanna bleed to the angle right ahead. Your wife and kid will wake up to a wrong type of morning. This sword is known to make orphans. No rope, just cub left in the wilderness. It's awful, but I wait for his bitterness to come and avenge for his father's death. Keep an eye on my father's threat. Chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada. That's the sound of clashing katanas. Chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada. That's the sound of clashing katanas. Yeah, the wave pattern along the blazes of clay, heated and cooled to a hard Martin dice. Say, in a battle, if the sword would have snapped and twined. Bad news for your spine, that's why. But builders fought superior, the heart soft and flexible, but the skin tough and durable. The combination is a genius behind the fiercest forged weapon never known to man. Damn, but the one with the thumb on the handle must learn to stay calm and stand like a candle in a storm. Looming that's guaranteed to take many forms and attack from all angles. The shadow men coming at the woodwork, so adamant I don't get it like clockwork. There's no good or evil, only strong or feeble. If it both live, see you in the sequel. Chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada, chambara, chambara, bada. That's the sound of clashing katanas. Yeah, come get it if you wanna.
Hello, my name's Loretta, and I'm 77 years old. That's right, 77, and I'm a fan of the booth. Sinister One, Keith Hayes. That's right, my favorite. He's like a adorable Sammy Davis Jr., but for the new age kids. And everybody that loves sports, because I love all that New England sports. The Boston Celtics, the New England Patriots. I don't even give a damn about the Jets or the Giants.
Actually enjoy treating your customers like a pieces of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too f***ing dark in that place for me to find my seat, all right? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my f***ing seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing with my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys obviously were being assholes to me, and I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money.
Dead ass. Serious, I would hate me too. Look at me. Think he the shit. This nigga don't even increase his Air Forces. What the f***? Shut the fuck up, you lying.
If we're honest, who wants to roll less travel? It's harder to teach us. Who wants the difficult route?
If you support safety in our schools, you will support the National Guard to come in here and keep our students safe.
People say, these students have changed. These students are lazy.
Your children aren't learning disability, they lazy.
Get students engaged so they don't want to skip class, they want to be in their classrooms.
There are teachers in this profession who should not be teachers. There are teachers in this profession who don't care about children.
These students don't want to learn. No, the adults have changed. See, the parents don't have the back of the teachers.
He ain't slow. He ain't got no learning problem. His parents didn't give him a foundation.
Young people, as a nation, we sorely need the depth and breadth of your intelligence, character, and also your clarity.
I think about, in particular, the history of people that look like me who are getting cheated.
So if you're asking me right now as an educator, what's wrong with these kids? There's nothing wrong with them.
Teachers are the most important people in the world.
They're whimpering in fear, and we're sitting here scared of them.
Because if they get it right, they'll change the world because they're in charge of the most important resource, and that's our children.
You see that cop out? You see that cop out?
Van Buren Records.
Van Buren's a brotherhood. Started in high school and grew up to be something special. Not too many's gotten this type of opportunity. Haiti's where we're from. Geno's is where we come together. Where we break bread. Van Buren's here to change a lot of the narrative. Trying to change the culture. Show the world what Brockton's really made of.
Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah.
Brockton, New Balance, Snack.
shoot no deputy. Oh no, oh. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. Ooh, 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 yeah.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, 2 Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. 2 Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, 2 lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
It's been 9 long years. The stress, the tension, the lies and division, the attacks on our lives, our rights, our sanity, family and friends lost to the conspiracies and the cruelty, all from one man and the movement he controls. But it's almost over. We can see the finish line. A new America, a new dawn, a new start. Unity, joy, strength. It's coming, but we're not done yet. There's hard work ahead, but we take nothing for granted. Trump is failing. America is winning. We're close. It's coming. Now, it's up to you. Volunteer, give, vote. Because there's nothing more patriotic than standing up for the America we can be.
This is Deanna Marie, and you're watching The Booth, a Sinister One production on Hoobazoo.com.
Donald Trump is a draft dodger, a coward.
I had deferments because of college, like a lot of people did. Numerous deferments because of college.
When 58,000 men gave their lives in Vietnam, Trump was the spoiled rich kid who faked bone spurs.
I had a foot thing, and I had deferment for that.
He mocked men who fought, bragging that cruising New York for sex and avoiding STDs was his own Vietnam.
It is your personal Vietnam, isn't it?
It is my personal
It is. You've said that many times.
I feel like a great and very brave soldier.
Trump called veterans suckers and losers. He mocked POW John McCain.
He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
Donald Trump, a coward, a criminal.
I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier.
Stand up for America.
And when we fight, we win!
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
You like some other action heroes in it. Yeah. This is destiny. This is madness. This is the Booth. Step into the twisted mind of my literature, designed to get into the depths of your mind. Administer sickness around to mimic the lights of snuff cinema. What you must get into, you're nothing but pups. Remember you Homer and Happy Simpson, son. Nothing Ithaca. Stalkers like the northern half of Korea's peninsula. ESP your island like the Booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the Booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the Booth, something sinister.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is, September 3rd. Hope everyone had a nice Labor Day. Tough one for me this week. But I got my guests on with me tonight, First Tuesdays. I got to thank my supporters and guests from last week. Travis Partington of Oscar Mike Radio, who helped me co-host a special episode. We spoke with CEO Grant Majors of American Rounds Vending Machines. These are the vending machines that sell ammunition. It was a great interview. Please make sure to check that out. Tonight is First Tuesdays. My guys are already on here with me. Robert Resnick, Ken Diesenhof down the bottom left-hand corner. And let me get into my sponsors. Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. If you need your controller fixed, make sure to get it out. Get it back to game in 24, 48 hours. Vianna Marie's Music, 494,000 streams available now. Please check out its personal latest project that should be coming out. Will be blacklisted. Also, Tactical Target Systems. As you saw me on Facebook, I posted. I was at the range yesterday enjoying the great weather. Got kind of warm. I actually I only was able to do about 50 rounds. Came home. I couldn't say it was pretty muggy yesterday. Also, ilovebostonsports.com. If you like a t-shirt, you get a chance to win a shirt in the chat. Then Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, reach out to Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography if you wish to take a private photo session that you never thought you'd be able to take. And then Underwatch Protective Services, Mobile Patrol, Foot Patrol, Armed Guards, Unarmed Guards, Event Security, and Private Security. Reach out to Daryl Smith, CEO. And before we get into the news booth, I'm going to let my guys introduce themselves. As I said, it's First Tuesdays, and we're going to be breaking down some legal stuff. I'm going to start off with Ken Diesel in the bottom left-hand corner.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. Hope everyone had a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. And just a quick question for all those of you out there. Do you get Labor Day off if you're unemployed? Just asking for a friend.
Squid.
Hello. Let's get started. Lot to do.
Yeah, a lot to do. Boston news booth right here. We're getting into the news booth real quick. 2 shot, 1 dead in the Dorchester barbershop shooting. Graphic video was posted to social media. Ken's a defense attorney, and there's this new thing out there that's scary, and it's bothering me. And this is murders for clout. We're starting to see this. Years ago in the 90s, we actually had places deemed as safe havens. In other words, when the gang violence was picking up in the 90s, the chiefs of police across the country pulled these gang members in and said, hey, the crime is bad enough, but we got to have places where we don't want these crimes to happen. And the 3 things that they picked: churches, schools, and barbershops in the inner cities. They didn't want that. That became one of those hands-off places. Now, today in this society, it seems like barbershops and schools and churches are no longer hands-off. As you saw here in Brockton just months ago, an execution-style killing in a Chinese restaurant right after sports got out, high school sporting event got out. The kid walked in and just shot the guy right in and made sure it was on camera. Ken's a defense attorney. What is this thing with clout now? These guys are now doing these murders and making sure that the person who did this murder posted it to social media. What is this about clout now with these gangs on the streets?
Well, actually, it's nothing new. I hate to say it, but this is nothing new. The social media aspect of it is a little bit new, but this goes back to the 40s and the 30s and the old mob days of making your bones. And unfortunately, like everything else, the only thing is technology is making it 10 times worse. In the old days, for a clout murder, you would kill someone.
So my thing is I know this has been around, this type of thing has been around, but bringing in the social media aspect, is this kind of a way for them to prove that they did what they were supposed to do to make their bones?
Yeah,
okay,
that's
the question.
Unfortunately, technology is both positive and negative, and you are seeing the seamy underbelly of technology.
Scary. That's kind of scary. That's scary to me, and it's sad because the young woman, the mother, I already saw the mother post and was telling everybody to stop sharing the video that's being shared all over social media. Her son dead in the barbershop chair. So I really, my prayers go out to that family. I know it's a sad story, and we got to do better, people. We definitely got to do better. We're also in the news booth. One person dies after a car hits a pole in Brockton. For those who saw my post on Saturday night into early Sunday morning, I actually had to go into Boston and pick somebody up. Came off the highway, and there was an accident that happened just ahead of me. Young kids, 2 cars. They ran into a telephone pole. One of the gentlemen ahead of me jumped out. He was performing CPR. One of the kids who was in the passenger side of the car on the ground. The other gentleman ahead of me, he jumped out and he holding the driver's head up, who couldn't get out the car. He was trapped. He was bleeding and he was keeping his head up so he wouldn't choke on his blood. And the other kid was the brother of the 2 in the accident. He was hysterical. I had to calm him down. We called the mother. As a parent, it sucks to have to make that call to another parent. She actually hung up on me at first, and then I called back, and the father or the boyfriend, whoever answered, I let them know the son was in a terrible accident. They get there, and then Sunday morning I found out. Gentlemen, prayers go out to this family. It's a tough loss. Also in the news booth, Toyota's new battery tech achieves 932-mile range with only 10 minutes of charging. It is a solid-state battery, and this will be released to the public. So in the news, Neuralink's second patient plays Counter-Strike with only his mind. Keep an eye on this. This is just crazy, crazy stuff. This is Neuralink. This is Elon Musk's device, so you want to keep an eye on that. Let's get into the entertainment booth and blow through this. Rest in peace, Fatman Scoop passed away. He was actually performing here in Connecticut. He collapsed on stage, passed away. His family gave a statement to all his fans and everybody, and thanking them for their support and how much he was loved. Fatman Scoop, who had 2 huge club hits, Be Faithful was one of them. You couldn't go to an event or a party or a sporting event without hearing a Fatman Scoop song. So rest in peace. Fatman Scoop is a DJ. My hearts and prayers go out to you. Also in the entertainment booth, guys, Netflix. I'm predicting that this will be your Netflix movie. Did you guys see the story released about the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage that was just released by the New York Times?
No, I didn't.
So as you guys know, the Nord Stream pipeline had exploded outside of Russia. And now the true story has been revealed that after a night of drinking, the Ukrainian generals and admirals and stuff, they were drinking at a bar one night and they decided, hey, you know what's a good idea? Let's put a task team together and let's take out that Nord Stream pipeline. And guess what they did after a night of drinking? They plotted this out and they completed the task. So I'm hoping, guys, that this will be our next Netflix movie. Somebody mentioned this, R-Squared, who's a military guy. Somebody said that sometimes some of the best plans derive from a night of sitting and just sowing your thoughts over a nice bottle of whiskey or whatever. Is that possible?
Well, the concept is you would never actually develop planning under that situation because there'd be too many mistakes. But coming up with some crazy ideas, and then you say, you know what, that one might actually work. Let's revisit that tomorrow or, next time we're in the office kind of thing. So sure, but.
And that's kind of what happened. This is it was a night of drinking, and then the next day they visit. This was such a big deal that the CIA and FBI was involved, and they actually contacted Zelensky to try to get them to stop this plan, and they didn't get to him in time. So this whole story is pretty incredible. Ken and I are both, we love history, we love military stuff. Ken, would you like to see a movie like this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It'd be fascinating to figure out how they did it, both from a tactical and strategic point of view, because blowing up a pipeline is not nearly as easy as people think it is. Pipelines are designed to avoid a catastrophic event. So it's not like a couple of guys with some C4 sneak across the border, slap it on, and then hit a detonator, then run away. That wouldn't do anything. They punch a hole in it, but that's repairable in about 10 minutes.
Well, they stole. Part of the story is that they rented some yacht, some rich person's yacht, to perform this whole thing, and then they had like their special forces did this. So it's a pretty crazy story. I'm hoping to see this, and hopefully it ends up being a movie. So in the sports booth, real quick, Brockton Sammy Okunlola. He debuted with Colorado this weekend. He is their starting defensive end. He actually played for the Brockton Junior Boxers many years ago. Big ups to him. Great stuff. And then, hey, the NFL season kicks off. These guys weren't here last week, so I'm going to let them give their predictions. I predicted the Pats to go 6 wins, 11 losses this season. And I also have them getting their butts kicked in their own division. And the only reason why I gave them 6 wins is because they've got a game overseas, and those games overseas are usually kind of toss-ups because of the jet lag and all that stuff. And then the bye week, they have Indianapolis bye week and then Arizona. And I said, you know something, that bye week's pretty good for them. So I gave them 6 wins, but realistically, I'm feeling kind of 4 wins and 11 losses. I'm going to let these guys give their thoughts real quick on what they think the Patriots will do. And as you guys know, R-Squared's a Giants guy, so I'll let him talk about his Giants.
I think the Patriots are going to be better than everyone thinks. I think they're the sleeper team. I really do. I like them in preseason. Made some very interesting decisions, especially in the QB role. And I don't think the NFL is as good this year as it's been in the past, for the possible exception of the Chiefs, maybe the Packers, maybe I'm putting a big question mark on Miami. I think it's another team we need to watch. Miami and the Browns. Those are teams you need to watch. I think the Pats are going 8-1 this year, and I think the tie is going to be the London game, because I think both teams are going to be jet lagged, and they're just not going to be out. They're going to be out of it. So I'm going 8-1.
And then R-Squared, how do you think your Giants are looking for this season?
I love that Ken picked a tie. That's that makes me smile. You had to actually go for the tie in there somewhere. Which there were a few ties last year, but they're pretty rare. So that's
they are rare. They are rare, but they do happen.
And you actually picked the exact one, so we're going to hold you to it. Okay. Look, the Giants aren't going to the Super Bowl this year, but we knew that. They've made some good moves. They have some improvement. I think, when you talk about predictions for the NFL, everybody says, oh, well, such and such team has a good quarterback, such and such team has a good running back. None of that matters. I'll tell you what it is. From watching the last few years and trying to make these predictions, it's all about which team can stay freaking healthy, because the injury situation in the NFL is out of control. And I know that the league tries to, look at every year in the offseason, they make some rules. There are some new ones this year to improve safety. And I respect the effort, but it's just, it's a challenging game. It's a dangerous game. And you don't play it if you're not willing to take those risks. And so, to me, between some of the turf problems, the fact that no matter how many safety rules you have, people are going to get hit in an awkward way, or just running down the field, tear something. I mean, it doesn't even have to be from contact. So it seems to me that, you talk about some of the best teams, for example, the Niners are clearly, a contender, but, can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy this year? He's got injury problems. He's already been out during preseason with a bad leg. So the question is, does he stay healthy for the season? Because if not, there goes that team, right? And so as I look around the league and I look at the Giants, what has been the Giants' problem the last few years? Injuries, right? They've had some of the worst turf in the league. They're going to redo it, but it wasn't for this year. I think it's for next year, but they're putting grass back in, or they're going to replace the turf. I don't know if they've made a final decision, but it's not for this season. And so either way, they're going to get rid of the worst turf in the league, and they're going to do something. But that team is susceptible to significant season-ending injuries, which is what we've seen from them. So, it's hard to know. It's almost like, how do you predict the injuries, which is how you predict who's going to have a decent season. The other thing for the Giants is, I think at this point, the experiment with Daniel Jones has failed. They had some good reasons for for picking him. He showed promise. He was intelligent. He understood the game, that type of thing, but he couldn't execute. And we blamed the offensive line for a while. We blamed some things around him, and that was all legitimate. They've got some improvements, but in the offseason and in the preseason games, he's been atrocious. So the question is, what do they do? DeVito is not going to be the starter, right? He's a third string. He can come off the bench. Nobody else wants him. And so they can do something with him. So I don't know what the Giants are going to do because their backup is hurt. They already have an injury problem. So I don't even know if I can give you a number. The Giants are not going to have a winning season, right? They'll be lucky to get 7-8 wins. If everybody stays healthy, maybe they get 9 wins. But this is not a playoff year. This is definitely not a Super Bowl year. So I'm going to enjoy the season. I love watching them play. I love watching the good matchups all year. I've got a few fantasy teams out there, and I'm just going to enjoy the season. I can't wait for football to start.
And the Eagles stacked up this year again.
The Eagles are a dominant team for sure, but they have to stay healthy too.
That's right. They do have to stay healthy, but they made some great moves. It's going to be breaking that division talk down when these guys are on next month. For First Tuesdays. Matt Cameron's in the chat. He says his top team this season is going to be Baltimore, and then the worst will be the 200 QBs from Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta taking another QB yet again. Baltimore's my pick. Baltimore is my pick for the AFC. I think they're the most improved team. I think getting Derrick Henry is going to give Lamar Jackson the break he needs to not be that all-purpose run-around guy. This threat at the running back with Derrick Henry can now keep him in the pocket. He doesn't have to scramble outside. Let's see what happens. But I think Baltimore is going to be a real threat to the KC throne in the AFC. We'll see what happens. Let me get into the legal booth. And if I seem like I'm blowing through topics, I am blowing through topics because there's a lot of things I want to really let these guys get off their chest. In the legal booth, this is a story that I tabled for these guys. As you guys know, last week, President Trump was indicted again on the federal interference case. Now, Rob has been doing a good job covering this over at the Corridor. We spoke about on this show several times. But I'm going to let Rob get into this and kind of explain what happened here with him being re-indicted on this case.
Well, it's really a fairly simple thing. I mean, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith did, I think, a smart move. They could have waited, let Judge Chutkin go ahead and make some rulings. She would have to hold evidentiary hearings, and this is true in both cases, the case in Florida as well as the case in D.C. But they would have to hold some evidentiary hearings and make some findings about what might be included in the Supreme Court's recent rule on immunity and other things. We spent a lot of time on the show talking about it. Doesn't matter what we think about it. It's the rule for now. And, then those decisions by those judges are subject to appeal themselves. And so those would go up to the circuit courts and then up to the Supreme Court. They might come back down. They might go up and down a couple of times based on what's happening, the legal wrangling and what have you. So I think what he did was smart. It was to say, look, we're going to take out a lot of the stuff we don't really need. We don't need all of those charges. We can go with some more focused charges. At the end of the day, it's the same basic thing. It's the same, course of conduct that's at stake, the same violations, but fewer charges, fewer counts, and much more focused, better defined in light of the Supreme Court ruling on things that clearly would not have been done under presidential authority, either because he was a candidate acting like a candidate or otherwise things that the Supreme Court may have excluded or could easily be argued as excluded and found such by the judges. So basically, it was a fine-tuning session. It's something that I would have recommended if I were involved. I think it was a smart move. I think he's improved the cases. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because nothing's going to happen before the election. That's clear. And, after the election, either they're going to have, close to 4 years to get it all done, or they're going to be out of jobs. So, we'll see. But I think tactically it was a smart move. Legally, it was a smart move.
Ken?
Everything Rob said is absolutely correct, 110%. If I may add just one or two other things, I don't want to repeat what Rob said, but one of the things that most people have not talked about is the fact that what Jack Smith did was went back and went down the facts that supported the indictments and took out any fact that may be construed as being involved in the official duties of the president. What he did not do was take out any indictments. The same indictments that were in the first indictment are in this second. And that's very important because that means all you've done is, okay, you claim that certain activities that you can't be prosecuted for because they fall under the presidential immunity doctrine. Great, we'll take those out, but we're still charging with 4 counts. So have a nice day, and we'll see you real soon. I think that was absolutely brilliant. I think, and it gives the defense even less room to run. One of the things you want as a defense attorney, and this will be with anyone, is you want to be able to go through the Commonwealth's case and pick out 1 or 2 things that don't make sense, and you make hay out of that. Most prosecutors, if they're smart, will do 1 or 2 things: either take them out or simply say, "Yeah, you're right. That's really, but it's not really relevant if you look at all the other stuff." Now, what Jack Smith did is basically took out all the weak parts of the case, and it's just, it was a tactical victory for the Trump team, but a strategic loss. So, way to go.
Oh man, breaking story, but really big to mention. Something about Mark Roberts, Carolina gubernatorial candidate, caught in utterly scandal. He brought hundreds of bootleg porn videos, went to the porn shop every day, and we're gonna get it. Also in the legal booth, we have breaking news, and the breaking news is that, I didn't even have a picture for that yet. The 6 Hamas leaders have now been charged by the DOJ. This is we kind of talked about this on the show. Oscar, I'm going to let you lead on this one because you talked about this from your military standpoint. And you had said that these were coming. You also had said too you felt Israel should answer for some stuff too. But I'm gonna let you get into this one. This is breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you compare the actions of Hamas over the decades and Israel in this conflict or even some others, you're talking about apples and oranges. Now, there's always supposed to be accountability. That's what international law says, that when there's an allegation and if there's any iota of a fact to support it, you have to investigate it. And investigations can determine that there were violations or that there were not violations or something in between. So an investigation by itself is not a negative thing. It's just a tool that's necessary to determine what it is that we have. When you have founded allegations, then of course they have to be dealt with. Those war crimes and crimes of that nature under international law, there's universal jurisdiction. And so we've got the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, and some special tribunals that exist that normally handle these type of allegations, in The Hague and other places. And that's because they have the expertise and the experience and the facilities, the infrastructure to do all that. The challenge is, of course, for example, take the Russian allegation. You ever going to get Vladimir Putin in custody? Probably not. Russia would have to go down a serious, change of leadership for somebody to turn him over, even if he leaves power at some point before he dies. But anyway, we're not talking about Russia. So the issue is going to be, what is the proper tribunal? Well, every nation technically has jurisdiction. Now, if you're some nation halfway around the world that has nothing to do with the conflict, it doesn't make sense to exercise jurisdiction to get involved. You're wasting your resources and you're only going to screw things up. And that's why we leave it to the tribunals. However, the United States, as Americans have been killed, American hostages, that's a war crime. Hamas taking the hostages is a serious war crime. Murdering those hostages is a serious war crime. These crimes are punishable by death. They're the most serious, breach of international law. And so the United States absolutely has jurisdiction. And because our citizens were impacted this way, it doesn't surprise me that the DOJ would look at this. Now, politically, there's some question because obviously in an election year and you've got problems in Michigan and some other communities with large Arab populations who are rebelling against the Democratic Party because of the Biden administration's support for Israel, even though they've condemned the violence and condemned the death of innocent civilians and stuff like that. They don't like the fact that the administration even took a position against Hamas, which, gee, that should be a no-brainer, quite frankly. The Arab community should take the same position. But so, it's interesting politically to do that, but that's not how they think, right? This is the Department of Justice. They're following the law. They follow the rule of law. And now that you have American citizens who have been murdered by Hamas, it makes sense that DOJ would file charges, would do an indictment. The issue is going to be, how do you ever get them, right? How do you ever get the Hamas leaders? And so, again, if Hamas is ever driven from power, there could be a situation where they are turned over to an international tribunal. I'm not so sure, based on who captures them or if they flee to another country, whether they would ever be given to the United States. Or certainly not going to be given to Israel. And I would say I would not even bet $1 that they would be turned over to The Hague. But and I know this is very controversial, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway, because that's what we do on this show. There is the United States, previous practice of rendition. And it's controversial legally and tactically and for a number of reasons. But we have in the past had clandestine operations where a team would go into a third world country without clearing it with their government. I don't mean third world, I mean third party nation, excuse me. And that team would go in for the purpose of taking custody over, somebody like this, and bringing them back to the United States or to another different nation where they would be held, interrogated, held until some time either of release or trial. And so, it's been controversial because some of the places they were taken do not follow international law themselves, and involves mistreatment, which could be a violation of United States law. I'm not going to say specifically because you'd have to look at the facts and investigation, but the allegations, the concerns are that at least in some instances, there have been violations of international law as well as United States domestic law. That's why they go to foreign countries. But the bottom line is, will the United States ever get custody of these Hamas leaders? Only if they're rendition, quite frankly. And that would be a controversial thing to do. Personally, I would support it. I have questions about the rendition practice, but this is one of those times when this is why you have such a practice. I don't say that lightly, but I think when you have international terrorists like this that believe in murdering civilians and murdering their own people, let's not forget, Hamas murders their own people, and they do so willfully as tools, as pawns. Nobody should object when they're held to account. And if they're given a fair trial, which they would in this country, they would get a fair trial. It would be public. There might be some closed sessions with some national security issues, but they would have a trial like other defendants would. And people, the world can see the evidence, or at least most of it, and the world can see that they get due process. And so I would like to see that happen. I'm not hopeful. Like I said, I wouldn't even bet $1 that it's going to happen. But I like the decision. I think it's symbolic. Maybe it helps some people, move through this process. It's lawful to do it. For DOJ to charge them and prosecute them. I'm skeptical whether we'll ever get physical jurisdiction over them. We have legal jurisdiction, but we have to get them here. We call the habeas grabus, as Ken understands it. We have to get the habeas grabus on them and, bring them to our system. But let's see what happens, one step at a time.
Ken, anything to add to that?
Yeah, they're never going to get them. They'll be dead before we get them, because either their own people will kill them to prevent them from being captured, or they'll never be got. This is more than symbolic, and I agree with 98% of what the Colonel said. I think this is more than symbolic because the reason is there are things you now can do civilly against Hamas and their charities that you couldn't do before a criminal indictment came down. You now can go out and start seizing assets, and private citizens, especially the relatives who have been murdered by Hamas, can go out and sue these organizations and get compensation. That's very big. It's been very controversial for the reasons that R Square said about going after Hamas's charities, because they're seen as being, helping people in the areas. I'm loath to call them occupied territory, but they're not occupied because the Gaza Strip hasn't been occupied since 2005. I don't want to call it Judea and Samaria, which is the right-wing Israeli version, because I don't believe in that. But we'll call it Gaza and we'll call it the West Bank. So what this these charities and I don't want to paint all of them with a broad brush, but a good number of them are fronts for Hamas funding. And this is how Hamas gets a lot of their funding, and how they move money, how they buy things, and evades sanctions. What this allows private citizens to do is go after these charities and shut them down. I think that's the more important story here that no one's talking about, and allows the DOJ to shut them down, and also to put the financial squeeze on these people, and more important, invite them in for a chat with the grand jury. And that's always fun.
Yeah, there's already federal law on the books that talk about various aspects of support for terrorist organizations, and it doesn't just have to be for the terrorist acts themselves. It could be even their humanitarian causes. If it's connected to the terrorist organization, it's criminal in nature. For example, an American citizen who wants to give money to a Hamas charitable organization, the fact that it's under the Hamas umbrella means it's a crime under U.S. law. That's already exists. That's always been the case. Now, whether or not the Department of Justice would go after something like that, it depends. And in this particular situation, I think they would. In other situations, they have discretion to figure out where to put their resources, and which organizations pose more of a threat and therefore require more of an action. But you're right that that having different designations, that's why you designate them terrorist groups in the first place, so that it's unlawful to provide any form of support, financial, otherwise, and then we can go after people who do that. And so that's what I'd like to see happen.
I totally agree with that.
Good stuff, and I'm glad I tabled both this story prior, and I'm glad that this breaking news we were able to break that down. Now let's get into the Biden bombshells. And the Biden bombshells, this was a tabled story. Just want to get these guys' opinion on this real quick. As you guys know, the DNC ended. It was a great time at the DNC, a totally different format, much more classy. It was great to see all of the stars come out like Stevie Wonder and Little John. A lot of people don't realize that this was kind of a jab at the RNC, because Trump is still going through a ton of these cases where they use people's music without their permission, which is a big deal. So by the DNC having the actual performers there performing was kind of a political FU to the RNC, which was great. But after the RNC and the DNC were done, we can talk about the hypocrisy of another. You have all these people, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, all these people for months and months and months and months. They've talked a lot of stuff about President Trump. RFK was one of those guys, RFK Jr. And, he comes from here. He comes from Massachusetts, a family that's been Democratic for such a long time. He ran independent. He drops out, and after all of the things that he has said about President Trump, he decides he's going to throw his backing to President Trump. So I'm going to let these guys real quick, before we get into the real discussion of tonight, about their thoughts real quick on RFK becoming a hypocrite and turning his attention to support Trump. I'm going to let Ken Diesel go first on this one. He's from Massachusetts. He understands how big that Kennedy name is here and how much they mean to Democratic politics in this.
I thought Ken was from New Jersey.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's
he
a
is
secret.
From Jersey. You're right.
Well, you're born and raised in Mass, so I'll let you go first, R Squared.
No, go ahead. I was born in New York.
Okay. No, look, RFK Jr. has been a clown since day one. His own family has called him out repeatedly. He's, I have no words other than absolute utter contempt. The chutzpah of that man, as we say in Yiddish, is incredible. So of course he comes out and backs Trump, and I think that does more damage to Trump than to Harris.
Really?
Frankly, because he's a clown. He's a freaking clown. That's all Trump needs, is another clown in his circus. So when he was an independent, there was the hope that he would take votes away from Harris because of the Kennedy name. Okay.
Mhm.
Now that he's supporting Trump, well, no, he's not. He's a clown. He'll be soon to be forgotten.
The early
That's all
polls
I
are
have to
saying
say.
it didn't hurt her. They're saying it didn't hurt her. R Squid, your thoughts real quick?
The only time that hurts is if you're obviously in some of the swing states where you're going to have a very, very tight margin. The fact that he might take a few votes that she could use, even though he might take more from Trump. If Trump wins that state by a slim margin, that could make the difference. But I agree with what Ken said, that for the most part, Democrats aren't looking at him, and his support of Trump lessens their interest in doing so. And the hypocrisy, I forgot which of you said it first, but the hypocrisy is the real thing here, because I forget the exact year he got the brain worm that made him crazy. Although he was probably crazy before that. He's had well, I mean, there are a lot of problems. Look, when your father's assassinated, there's a lasting emotional scar from
right.
what they experienced. His uncle was killed, his father was then killed. I mean, God forbid, anybody experiences something like that, and there's no doubt that it has a profound impact on them. And earlier in his career, he did some good work. He was huge on the environment. He was out in front on environmental issues before the whole climate change movement was. So,
Yep,
I don't want to take that away from him, but then the brain worm started eating away at his brain tissue and made him nutso. I mean, I'm not being facetious. I mean, he claims that there was a brain worm that was taken out of his head, and he had some other maladies that it doesn't take a genius or a medical professional to realize that these things, whether they're real or made up, were precipitating a change in him from someone who was a little bit more serious to a kook. He's a total kook and a fraud. And his family's the ones who are saying that. So, I mean, I'm just quoting the Kennedy family. I agree with that assessment, but they're the ones who are saying it publicly, that he's disgraced their name. But, whatever the source of his problems are, if you care about environmental issues, Trump is the worst person you would ever support, right? So it calls into question his understanding, his sincerity, or anything, because like I said, earlier in his career, he was great on environmental issues. But Trump is the worst. He wants to do away with the EPA. He wants to do away with the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act. You name it, Trump wants to get rid of it. And so somebody like Robert Kennedy, who even remotely cared about environmental issues, let alone his advocacy earlier on, it doesn't make any sense. It just shows you that he's having a complete mental breakdown. And the reason he gravitated to Trump was over vaccines. He's an anti-vaxxer. And so, that's where he got attracted to Trump, because of the whole COVID thing, where Trump obviously made a huge mess. I mean, let's face it, there were multiple reasons to get rid of him in 2020, but his failure over COVID was one of the biggest ones that influenced voters, especially swing voters. And, that's where he and Kennedy are two peas in a pod, or two worms in a brain, whatever you want to say. So, it's just disgraceful to see something like that happen. I feel badly for the family, but obviously they'll be fine. I felt badly for his sister Kerry, who's been on TV trying to, denounce him and show who the Kennedy family really is and wants to be. It's really just sad. It's really just a sad thing. At the end of the day, does it impact the election? Like I said, only in those narrowly decided close races where 1,000 votes that might have gone to Harris went to Kennedy, because he's still on the ballot, or followed him to Trump. But remember, Kennedy went to both campaigns. He went to the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign, saying he's going to drop out of the race, and he would give either campaign the support based on who gave him something. And the Harris campaign said, "Go pound sand. We don't want any part of you," which is the right thing to do. And the Trump campaign said, "Oh yeah, we'll take you." And they promised him a cabinet position. And they promised him, now that he's one of the co-chairs of the transition team. What does he know about the transition team? Zero, right? And then who's the other co-chair? I forgot. What's her name? Well, it doesn't matter. I don't want to waste time on that. But, the two co-chairs of the Trump transition, if he were to win, the transition team, are a couple of real, total losers, Kennedy and I'm sorry, the other name, I guess I'm having a moment here. But, so that's the bigger story, right? That he was just an opportunist. He was going to go to whichever campaign was giving him something. The Democrats said, "Sorry, we don't think somebody like you belongs in government." And Trump promised him a cabinet position. That's all you need to know.
Felicia, thank you for tuning in. Bella, getting ready for that first day of school tomorrow. And here we go, 7:40. Let's get into this. Stolen Valor Narrative is the show that I want to talk about today. We want to really kind of get into it. And a couple of things about this Stolen Valor narrative that I find is dangerous right now. We've had Stolen Valor. It's been around for years. These are people who take credit for things that they didn't do in regards to the military. There's one right now with the governor from Maryland. He accidentally filled out Bronze Star recipient. He's saying it was done in 2002, but all of a sudden it's being brought up as a narrative. And this narrative thing really kind of started when J.P. Vance and Tim Walz was announced. And I want to break it down with the vice presidents first, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to get into this other Stolen Valor type thing that's going on. But Tim Walz, when he was announced as vice president, Mr. Vance and several others from the Trump team, they immediately attacked Tim Walz, memes and everything popping up about this guy being a coward and this and that. And, you know, this was a guy in Minnesota. He was loved. And I looked up a lot of stuff about him and I'm like, okay, this guy did 24 years in the military. How are these people bashing the guy? And then they're saying that he got out before Desert Storm. And I looked it up, and R Squared actually wrote a whole piece about Tim Walz and how this whole thing really kind of broke down. This guy was already on his way out. He had medical issues with his hearing. He had already visited the doctors and discussed about leaving the military, and he had enough time and putting his papers in. He filed his papers, and unfortunately, by the time his papers came, you know, this thing breaks out, and guys are going over. And the Trump people and the MAGA nitwits automatically jump on the timing of this because people don't do their homework and people don't want to do any type of research. But they want to spin this as if he was a coward and he retired so he could get away. When most people know that in the military, it takes a long time to get your papers and be able to be out. I'm gonna let a military guy, a retired Army colonel, JAG officer, I'm gonna let him explain it from his mouth, because the amount of people out here, Rob, you said it best in your whole story. You broke it completely down, and I'm just gonna let you speak, Tim Walz. It bugged the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'll refer people to the piece for the entire background, because otherwise we'll waste the entire rest of the show on this. Not waste, but we would spend the rest of the show. But here's the thing. First of all, when you're going to retire from the military, they tell you it's a 2-year process, but at least a year to do that. Because there's just so many things you have to do in the paperwork. I mean, you can imagine the bureaucracy. But the thing with Governor Walz is this. He obviously made the decision to retire, and the critical date is not the date that the Army gave him his papers with approved retirement. It's the day he submitted them, because you have to go through multiple steps. You have to prepare the paperwork. You have to get endorsements from your chain of command. There are a lot of, you don't just file your paperwork and say, I'd like to leave. It takes a long time. There's a lot of steps you have to do. And so he was working on that for quite some time before he submitted the papers. Now, obviously, before he submitted the papers, he could have changed his mind. But once he submitted the papers, they're in, right? And so any information that became known after that fact, his papers were already in, and so it didn't influence his decision. But I think what you were alluding to in the piece is he did the honorable thing. After 24 years, first of all, he was selected for promotion to the highest enlisted rank there was, not just sergeant major, but command sergeant major. He retired as a master sergeant simply because he didn't go to the schooling, because he retired before he could complete the schooling, because he wasn't going to, if you go to school, you incur an additional obligation. You can't go to school and then retire. You go to school and you owe several more years. So he didn't go to the schooling, but he was selected for promotion. That in itself is the remarkable achievement. It doesn't matter that he didn't retire at that rank, because it's not like he lost it due to misconduct or anything like that. He was selected. He was already retiring. So that just tells you, to be selected for that rank tells you how in high esteem he was, the incredible success he had in his career. To be selected for that promotion, it speaks for itself. The second thing is he was retiring because he had decided he was going to enter politics. That's when he was going to run for Congress. He had spoken with people back home. He had made a decision. He believed that he had a chance to win. He was going to a hotly contested district that had only voted for one Democrat in 100 years, and he was going to try to be the second. And so it was not going to be an easy thing to do. He knew that he was going to have to devote all of his time to that. If you're in the military, that's your priority. The military is your priority. The mission, your men, your women, everybody is your priority. You can't run for office, especially a contested congressional seat, and be in the military at the same time. It's just not, it's not feasible. He did the honorable thing. And again, if you're a candidate for political office, you have to talk about policy. What's the one thing military leaders are not supposed to do? Engage in politics, engage in partisan politics. They're not supposed to support policy. They're not supposed to oppose policy. They're supposed to do the job and do it as well as you can, whatever your personal views might be about the civilian leadership or the mission you're given or what have you. And so he did the right thing by saying, I need to retire so that I can go into politics with a clear slate. And that's what he did. And the fact that his unit was then, remember, he was in a National Guard unit. So that unit, came down on orders to go overseas to Iraq, after he had submitted his papers. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Now, by the way, I think you're familiar with the term stop loss. If he was necessary for the unit, to be prepared and to deploy, they would have stop lossed and they would have said, sorry, you can't retire. You'll have to go to this deployment and then you can retire when you get home. They didn't do that because it was okay. They have plenty of people. In fact, that's when units rotate, right? There's a cycle for that. You rotate people in so that the team that's going to deploy is in place for a long enough time to start doing mission planning, all the things that you have to do to get ready to deploy. You don't just get a notice and deploy in 2 days. It's a long process. There's a lot of training and everything in preparation that goes involved. So he did the right thing in that regard. And so any questions about his bravery, any questions about his service are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. His record speaks for itself. He would have never been promoted to sergeant major if there was a shred of doubt, if there was anything missing in his career. Never would have happened. Never would have happened. And so, for Trump, who, had, the fake bone spurs, the fake doctor's notes to get out of, his military obligation when everybody else was going, has no business speaking about it. J.D. Vance, who chose to be the running mate of the draft dodger in chief, has no business talking about it. He did
another
serve,
hypocrite.
but he was a public affairs specialist. He went to Iraq for 6 months writing press releases. Okay, it's not like he's a hero. All right. Now, I respect anybody who served. I served for 25 years. I respect anybody who serves, whether it's 25 days. Well, 25 days you can't really, but whatever the time is, whatever your service is, I respect that, and I don't denigrate that. But if people are going to play this game, then I'm going to play it back because it's despicable. It's absolutely despicable. You want to compare Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance's military record? Let's do it. You want to compare Tim Walz to Donald Trump's military record? The man who says anybody who serves is a sucker and a loser? Yeah, let's compare those records, folks. Let's compare them. Let's compare people who respect military service with the MAGA people who despise military service and those who perform it. Let's compare those notes. I'm ready.
And we're really going to get into this in this next topic. And J.D. Vance, he's another hypocrite. Right up there with Tulsi
Gabbard. 10 months in, I think.
He called.
Hold a second, Sister One.
Go. Okay, Ken.
I want to say something because Rob's too humble to say it himself. In addition to spending 25 years in the military, Rob forwardly deployed to some of the biggest bleep holes in this universe, including places in the Middle East, where let's just say it wasn't a freaking Caribbean vacation. So while Mr. Vance or Lance Corporal Vance was writing press releases in an air-conditioned office in Baghdad, the colonel was out in the field sleeping under a Humvee. And he can tell you why they were sleeping underneath a Humvee. Because there wasn't any goddamn Holiday Inns where he was. But he was too humble to state that. Sometimes talk to him about his experiences.
And, like I said, J.D. Vance is another hypocrite. He talked a lot of crap about Trump, actually referred him, to Hitler at one time. And now he's denying that. And he got called out. I saw a guy interviewing him and called him out and said, "You're a liar." And called him out. But let's really get into this. Let's really get into this topic, because there's a topic that's really burning my ass, and I just want to tell you, I see a lot of people on Facebook coming.
Don't fuck with me, fellas.
Don't F with me. I'm pissed right now because this is in this man's blood. This is his MO. People seem to forget that this is a guy who gassed public citizens for a photo op outside the church where he held a Bible upside down, to where his Secretary of Defense went with him, knew it was wrong, and then realized, hey, I got to release a statement that this was wrong. This should have never have happened. So why does it surprise anybody that what is now gone on at Arlington Cemetery on the anniversary of the 13 military officers who lost their look? And here's the thing, and I'm just going to get into this. This goes a lot deeper than effing people realize. This is a lot deeper, okay? 13 military members lost their lives, and there's 7 families right now who are all happy and smiling, and they had their photo op with Trump. But let's be real here. Those 7 families who invited Trump to Arlington Cemetery are MAGA supporters. They're MAGA people, and right now this narrative that's going on is dividing as we see it. Guys like R Squid, we're seeing military people on social media now divided on their opinions and thoughts of what has gone on, because you have these families who've invited Trump out. They knew what they were doing when they invited Trump out. They knew exactly what they were doing when they invited President Trump to come out. Of course, and I see people saying, well, Joe Biden and Harris isn't going to go there. Well, guess what? Respectfully, and this is just my opinion, Rob can correct me on it. In my opinion, Harris and Biden know what the climate is in regards to these 13 military officers losing their lives. They know the climate. So for me, I'm pretty sure their team and their people said, hey, it's not a good look to go there and show up there, because they're going to look at it as false, as false sympathy to get votes. Yet it's okay for the 7 MAGA supporters to invite President Trump out and get his photo op at Arlington Cemetery, to the point where they also shoved staff members there. Retired Major General Paul Eaton, R Squared said this. He slammed Trump for desecrating Arlington Cemetery for an illegal campaign photo op. Now, a lot of military people are going back and forth. Some are saying, nah, this wasn't illegal. He had every right to be there. And there's a lot of high people that are saying, no, it was. This gentleman here, as you can read, says, someone who would do that should never be commander-in-chief. And I'm not going to, I want to get this. Let's get on this. I want to get on this right from the horse's mouth, right from a military guy, right from a guy, like Ken said, he was over there. He fought. He knows of people who lost their lives. He knows of people who end up in Arlington Cemetery. And like I said, there's a dangerous game being played by MAGA supporters right now. There's a real dangerous political narrative game being played. Don't fall for it, people. Please read between the effing lines out there. Please read it, because guess what? While you had 7 families that invited Trump there and knew what they was doing, there were 6 other families that right now they've been on social media and they're saying, we didn't want him there, and he desecrated. So I'm turning this over to R Squared.
Yeah, look, first of all, I'm sure not everybody listening has been to Arlington. It's a special place if you visit it. And if you stand there, then you can appreciate this whole conversation. If not, it may be difficult, visually to figure out what we're talking about, but there's nothing we can do about that at the moment. Look, anybody can visit Arlington. It's open to the public during visiting hours. You can go see the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier with the changing of the guard. You can go visit some of the famous political and military leaders buried there, and of course you can visit your family members and friends that are buried there. I have colleagues that are buried there. I've been to Arlington a number of times. It is sacred ground. When for example, when I was stationed in DC, we used to go for a run at lunchtime. You can't run through Arlington Cemetery. You have to go the long way around, adding miles. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm saying it's a special place and everybody knows it. So here's the thing. Trump, as an American, not just because he's president, but as any American, can visit Arlington. And he can go to whatever section he wants to go to and pay respects and do different things. He could lay a wreath. When you're president, obviously your movements always have to be choreographed because of security, because of the disruption. Presidents know when they can go to Arlington. They go for Memorial Day, they go for Veterans Day, and some special occasions. And that's when the president goes, and the president lays a wreath and makes some remarks, and they're not political in nature. They're appreciating of military service and national security and what have you. So Trump had every right to go there. That's true. And the families, even if they were wrong, they had the right to invite him to go with them. We can criticize them for it, but legally they had the right to do that. Morally, that's a different question, but they did. And so the question is not whether he had the right to go. He did. Legally, he was, because any of us could have gone. And the families could invite anybody they want to go pray with them or go pay respects with them or whatever they want to do. The issue became, and this is abundantly clear, I don't know why people are playing with this. You may not ever engage in partisan politics or any of those games in Arlington Cemetery. It's sacred ground. That's why the cemetery staffer, when he didn't stop Trump and the families from going to pay respects, they had every right to do that. And he was there as an escort because you have a former president there who gets an escort. I mean, that's a VIP treatment. Trump got VIP treatment. And in exchange for that VIP treatment, he disgraced himself. And he disgraced Arlington Cemetery. And he disgraced the people buried there. Remember the thousands of people buried in Arlington? Trump calls them suckers and losers because Kelly, who was retired as a Marine Corps, highly respected Marine Corps, 4-star general, retired and became Trump's chief of staff. And when they were talking about John Kelly's son who died in action, Lieutenant Kelly is buried there. That's when Trump said, these are all losers and suckers. Why would any of them do that? And he said that to General Kelly, talking about the death of his own son. So that's how Trump views the military. Okay, let's not think that he's some special hero of the military or supporter. He doesn't support the military. He has disdain for the military. And those are his words. This is not my commentary. Those are his words. Those are the plain meaning of his words on multiple occasions. It wasn't one misspeak, it's multiple occasions. So those 7 families disgraced themselves. Now, they're Gold Star families. They lost a loved one in combat. My heart goes out to them. Nobody should have to endure that, but it's part of our reality. And they grieve in their own ways. But as you pointed out, these are people who were playing politics. They chose to inject politics. Shame on them. Because they could have invited Donald Trump and had a private, solemn ceremony, and it would have been fine. But that's not what they did. They intended this to be, and the Trump campaign especially intended this to be, a partisan political event. And that's why they came with the cameras. You don't go with the cameras if you're doing something solemn and tasteful. They brought the cameras. And when that staffer saw the cameras, he said, excuse me, sir, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, you can't do that. You can say your word, but you can't film it. You can't do a political event here. And one of Trump's people pushed the staffer out of the way, got violent. That's a battery. Okay, Ken can tell you that person is guilty of battery. And I'm not saying it's the crime of the century, but it was wrong in many ways. And they filmed their thing anyway. And by the way, they didn't even film it in a dignified way because Trump did his stupid smile with the thumbs up, standing in front of the fallen. And that's what's so offensive. It wasn't, I mean, first of all, they desecrated Arlington, the sacred ground, by doing a political thing in the first place. But then instead of having, an appropriate look on his face where he was paying respect, he has the smile, the big shit-eating grin with the thumbs up in front of the graves, including the graves of people who didn't want him there. People who don't support MAGA, people who actually believe in military service, unlike MAGA. And so that's what makes this wrong. And there's no way to defend that. There's no question about it. It's not a difference of opinion. It's the law. It's the rules. It's dignity. It's solemnity. It's morality. There is no second opinion on that. What Trump did was wrong. What those families did was wrong. And there's just no disagreement with that. He had every right to go there, but what he did there was wrong.
But it's weird because you're seeing a lot of military people divided on their opinion on this, and it's weird.
Because they're ignorant. Because they're willfully ignorant, something we talk about on this show. They're saying that when they're defending his actions, they think that they're defending his right to go there. That's not in question. Nobody, including the Harris campaign or the Biden administration, nobody criticized his ability to go there. It was what he did there. It was the disgraceful behavior that he did when he was there, the political games and that stupid picture he took. That's what's critical. And no military person can defend that. None. You're
not seeing anybody high up defend it. I can tell you that right now. It's pretty much only the lower people on Facebook. I haven't seen one top tier person sign off on what was done, and I see Ken is just thinking.
Okay, now you need to understand that when you go to any cemetery, there is an accepted decorum, especially at Arlington. These are men and women, many of them who did not see 30, who died in the service of their country. And I think a little history lessons in order, if you'll just stick with me for a couple of minutes. Why do we have the Arlington National Cemetery where it is? The reason was, during the Civil War, all of the cemeteries were full. And President Lincoln ordered the Quartermaster General of the Army to find a new cemetery. He had just lost his son. He was a Southern man, but he stayed loyal to the Union. And he blamed Robert E. Lee for the death of his son and other young men who fought and died during that horrible war. So they confiscated Arlington Estate. That was actually owned by his wife's family. He didn't own it. He didn't have any money. But it was in his name because back then women couldn't own property. So that estate of one of the chief rebels became the Union's most hallowed ground. People forget that. Actually, you can go there today and tour Arlington Hall, which is the mansion. It's a very beautiful place. I strongly recommend you do it. That being said, if you ever go to Arlington National Cemetery, and I think everybody listening should go at least once in their life, you can't help but be overwhelmed by the place. Even if you don't know anyone who's buried there, you see these, what they call the Garden of Stone, because that's what it is. These literally, as far as the eye can see, universally sized headstones that are very simple, and I'm not degrading that in any way. They usually list the name of the person, maybe their branch, and if they have any particular awards like a Silver Star or a Gold Star, whatever. And you see them row after row after row after row. Anyone who is not moved by that should check their pulse. And there are signs all over the cemetery asking people to be respectful and show decorum. I don't think there should need to be signs, but they're there. And I visited Arlington on numerous occasions. I have 2 blood relatives who are buried there. One of my great uncles and one of my cousins on my mother's side. Neither one of them died during the war. They died after the war, but being they're military veterans, they were to be buried there. My sister-in-law, her uncle, her father's brother, is buried there. Abraham Thomas. He died in World War II. He was a gunner on a B-17. He got shot down. They recovered, a couple of bones. That's it. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. My nephew Abraham Diesenhof is named for him. When he was born, as an honor to her uncle, they named him Abraham Matthew Diesenhof. Okay. Again, as Rob said, one of the most moving place you can go is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and see the changing of the guard, which is very moving. It's incredible. I strongly recommend you go see it. You will cry. I'll admit, I cried. Okay. Now, if you go to the cemetery just to pay your respects to an individual or a group of people or colleagues, or just go there to pay your respects to the men and women who have fought and gave what Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion to his country, God bless you. I think it's a very good thing to do. But the unmitigated gall, the chutzpah for you to go there and stand on people's graves. That's exactly what they did. Look at the picture. They're standing on their grave for political purposes, for your campaign, when you called them losers and suckers, when you got out of the war, you were required to do it because of bone spurs. You're beyond contempt. Okay? You should never have gone in the first place. But okay, if family wants to invite you, I'm in no position to tell a family member who's got a person in the ground there who they should invite and who they shouldn't. It's not my role. And as much as I find Trump the most disgusting human being, if a family member, okay, fine, shut the bleep up, Ken. You've never been in active duty. You have no right to comment. That's fine. If maybe someone wants to, of a private family member want to take a photograph of Trump on the outside of the gate, that would be fine. Okay, that'd be not great, but okay, outside, but not at the grave sites, because I don't know if any of you looked. You see Trump with his, I'm trying to be clean here, but bleep eating grin and a thumbs up, and you see the two graves right in front of you, but you also see all the graves behind you of men and women. That just is sacrilegious to their service and their sacrifice. When to be perfectly honest, when I first heard about this, I thought that wasn't true. Because when I first heard about it, I said, "Oh, come on, nobody's that stupid. Not even Trump's that dumb." By the way, and I was shocked to find out he is. And getting to the point, by the way, yes. Here's something you may not know. Assaulting a federal official on a federal reservation is a federal felony. Arlington National Cemetery is a federal reservation. Once you step in there, if you do anything illegal, you are prosecuted in the federal court system. That, and I don't know what the proper term is. Rob, maybe you can help me. A cemetery worker. I don't know if there's a specific term they use, but she was employed by the cemetery doing her duty to prevent Trump from making a fool of himself, and one of the staff members pushed her. And oh, by the way, not to go legal geek on you, every single person who was there could have been charged as a co-conspirator. So Trump could have been charged with a conspiracy. Now, she decided, from what I've read, I've not talked to this woman, but from what I've read from reputable sources, she has told her superiors, nope, let it go. It's been enough about this. I don't want to be on this anymore. I've got a sacred duty to take care of the grounds. I'll leave it at that. Okay, I respect that. You're putting the unit, in this case, Arlington National Cemetery, ahead of your own needs. I respect that, because the people she's taking care, she and her colleagues maintain the grounds for those people, and the focus should always be on those people, and of course the friends and family members and colleagues, as R Square said, who come to visit and pay respects. Okay, that's fine, but don't you? I go to a number of cemeteries where my friends and relatives are buried. These are civilian cemeteries. I'm sure both of you have been to civilian cemeteries. And when you go there, it's always quiet. There's always people there. They're milling around, but they're trying to be quiet because people are saying their prayers over the graves, or maybe they're having a moment, or maybe they're just saying goodbye to the loved one. But there's always a certain amount of decorum where people keep their voices low. They try to be polite. I think the loudest thing I ever hear at cemeteries are the men and the women who are doing the groundskeeping with the leaf blowers and the lawnmowers. That's the loudest noise you hear. And that goes 100 times for Arlington Cemetery. Now, I've never been in the military. I never have served, but I can't imagine what's like someone from R Square. My guess is he's served with people who are currently residing in Arlington and who didn't make it home for various reasons, none of which is their own fault. I can't imagine the pain would be to go to a place where my friend, who maybe didn't make it out of his 30s because he was defending our country,
who said it was. They said. So I feel that they should. I get it. And like R squared, you don't want to wish the loss of a family member, on a mission. It's bad. Yeah, we get it. But when you start doing things for political reasons, which they knew what they were doing when they invited Trump there. These 7 families knew exactly what they were doing. Trump's MAGA campaign looks for people, and I know exactly how they pull. When he was up there talking about the 13 loss during the RNC, and then happened. This is how these invites happen, and like these 2 guys said, they had every right to go there. But like R squared said, the line was crossed. The line was crossed when you made it political. Just like when he gassed the citizens in the park just outside of Washington so he could go to a church and hold a Bible upside down. And like I said, he had a whole Secretary of Defense who realized that was the end of that. If I'm not mistaken, that was the breakup between Trump and his Secretary of Defense, if you remember correctly.
It was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Milley.
Yep, and that was it. He realized it. And we talked about this on the show because you said it yourself. You said he has to realize that this was wrong. And you said that on this show. And it wasn't, I want to say it was during the week, and we said, hey, the booth called it again. Milley had come out, I want to say maybe 2 days after, and he come right out and condemned the action. We're in our private chat. I said, R squared called it because there are certain things when you do it as commander-in-chief, it's wrong. And you can argue it on Facebook all you want, but a lot of you people out here, you don't know shit about what you're talking about. You're throwing this stuff back and forth and don't realize there's levels to this. And what was done at Arlington Cemetery was wrong on Trump's part, and it was wrong on the 7 families. Like I said, my heart goes out to their losses. But when you are a MAGA supporter, a Trump supporter, and you bring this guy in, knowing that you were just doing this to make Harris and Biden look bad is wrong.
Because part of what Trump was saying was he was really bashing the Biden administration for the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And we all know that it could have been done better. There's no question about that. Yes. We talked about that on the show in real time. We there's no, you don't hide something like that. But remember something, it was Trump who chose to negotiate with the Taliban, and it was Trump who signed the deal with the Taliban to withdraw U.S. forces. Biden was bound by that. We were already drawing down. To reverse course, Biden would have had to send thousands of people deployed. He would have had to send thousands of soldiers back over to Afghanistan, which was not feasible at the time. So, yes, absolutely, it should have been done better. There's no doubt about it. We said it at the time. No reason to do that. But this was Trump's doing. Trump set this up. He's the one that made a deal with the Taliban, and he's the one that said the U.S. was going to withdraw. So, yeah, he doesn't have clean hands here is the point. You can't blame this on the Biden administration. He started
Exactly. People in the chat, Andrea Fernandez says Trump's brain was not fully developed. He's stuck in the me 3 stage. That's true. And hey, people, September 10th. Oh, shoot. That is next week. Next Tuesday night is the debate between Harris and Trump. We also have the vice president's debate. I forget anybody know what date that is? The vice president? 2 days before, right?
I don't remember offhand.
I actually want to check.
I think it's the 8th, but don't quote me.
I think Tim Walz is going to kill him. I think he's going to destroy him in this debate. I'll tell you, Tim Walz impressed the hell out of me at the DNC, and I heard of him only because he's from Minnesota, and you saw him a lot in the NFL whenever Minnesota was in the playoffs and stuff. You saw him on there. So I only knew him from like the sporting stuff. But when he got up there and he spoke, I was like, wow. Now I know why they picked this. This guy is.
You got to remember, Tim Walz taught high school for 25 years. And if you don't think keeping the attention of a bunch of raging hormonal teenagers for 25 years is difficult, I got news for you. You become a master debater, speaker, manipulator, mommy, daddy, whatever. JD Vance going against Tim Walz is like sending in, no offense to your junior boxers, Sinister One, I love them all, but sending in the junior boxers against, I don't know, the University of Alabama or Georgia in a football game and saying, okay, game on.
And before we get out of here,
this guy for lunch.
Yeah, and before we get out of here, we're getting into this debate, and I see a lot of people out there. They don't come on this chat when the show's on, but I see them. They want to throw around, and I hear this thing about people, and I gotta just let them know that they gotta just sit. You gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. Sit down. Here's the stupid thing, and here's what you're all gonna find out on September 10th. There's a lot of people out there posting about Kamala Harris and saying she's incoherent. She can't make sentences. She don't know how to speak. I say to these people, what are you talking about? A woman who was an attorney, a district attorney. She was a defender. She was in the court system. She spoke with judges. Come on now. This is just asinine to say that this woman is incoherent and can't speak. This is that MAGA mentality of just belittling women, of power. We're going to see. September 10th, we are going to see. Remember, Trump was going to back out of this twice already. Twice. When she first took over, the first thing he said was, I'm not debating her. Because he knows you can't debate abortion with a woman. That's going to be the interesting point here. You can't debate that point with a woman, and that's going to be real interesting to see. But we ran over. We had to. It's great stuff. I-Squared, you still look mad from the conversation. I feel like this means a lot to you. I feel like you were really angered by this. Yeah. I really feel like, and I can see it in your face. And you know what? My heart goes out to you, man, because I know what that place means to you. And you in your service to this country, so I can see it. It's showing, and I want to just thank you. I'm gonna let you go first and let you say what you got to say before we get out here.
We're doing closeout.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, we knew we were going to talk about some controversial and important topics tonight. I think we did a good job. I think we presented information. I hope that everybody, takes it to heart and read credible information, read multiple sources, get different opinions, just make sure they're credible and understand what.
Guys out there, again, the Corridor on Facebook. These guys are over there. I-Squared writes a lot of stuff and he puts a lot of points out there that are, like he said, the facts. Do your research. You don't have to like or agree with what I-Squared is saying, but I-Squared does his homework and he makes sure to get the facts and breaks things down. So please check out the Corridor. Ken Diesel.
I'd like to thank all of our listeners, all 12 of you. Just to parrot what R-Square said, stay informed, read multiple sources. It's never been easier to access multiple sources on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet. There are actually aggregation sites that will do it for you. You can actually pay them a modest fee, and they will do it for you. But for God's sake, stay informed, people. Remember, I did look it up. The VP debate is October 1st. The presidential debate is September 10th, in case any of you are interested. I know we are, and I know we'll be breaking down the presidential debate probably in October. But till then, be safe.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's going to be live. We're going to be checking it out. Maybe I'll start a group. Maybe I'll just do a group chat that night so everybody can just kind of comment while they're watching on it. we can go that route. But I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show and hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank everybody. Let me get into my transitional banners here. Thank everybody for supporting the show with the beanies and things of that sort. Got a few events coming up in this thing too. I want to mention the shows that I produce: Drafting the Circuits, Oscar Mike Radio, Matty C Sports, Happy Hour with Lido, Fubar Studios, and Homeland Hero Salute. Also, Vianna Marie and myself will be performing at a private event this Thursday night. So look out for that. Ride Bat Buses for free the year. I'm pretty sure that's going to be extended. MBTA was extended to 6. And don't forget, polls already closed, so I'm hoping to see some results for today's primaries and today's local special elections. Tomorrow, school begins. Brockton High School community standout, 6:30 to 7:10 tomorrow morning. Also, Matty C, he's running in Providence for the Downtown 5K on September 15th. And then Matty C is gearing up to run, I believe, is the Boston Marathon. So we're going to get him on the show to talk about the Greek. Hey, Ken, I don't know if our squared's ever been here, but Ken, the Greek Food Festival, September 19th to the 22nd. You know we were a staple of that event. I'm not sure if our squared has ever been to the Greek Food Festival. Might have to have him come down and check that out. K&E Entertainment presents Back to the 80s Trivia at Deanne's in Abington on Monday, September 30th. I'm really thinking about going on Monday night. And then IGY6, Two Lives at Once, 4th annual benefit takes place on October 5th. And then Self-Titled on October 18th. And then The Pink Out on October 19th. Hide and Seek from the Police on October 31st. It's the 3rd annual, 150 entries. And as I mentioned, Matty C, Boston Marathon half. That is going to be November 10th. And again, thank you everybody for tuning into the show, supporting the show. And again, please check out The Corridor. And SpongeBob, we will be back next week. It will be debate night. And do me a favor, take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, bitch, don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.